I'm with Kairat Kelimbetov in Nur-Sultan in Kazakhstan. Kairat, what's the situation as far as the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned in Kazakhstan and what's happening in Eurasia as a whole?
Yeah, I think if we can divide it with development for three stages, like flattening, fight, and future. So we, I think, still in the first two stages where we try to flatten the curve. After March 11, the government announced the state of emergency. So means that it was a lockdown of two big cities at the beginning, and later on the entire population. So in two big cities, Almaty and the city of Nur-Sultan. So since those time, we still have now 8,500 infected people, 35 deaths. And I think that the government response was very productive and very fast. So it was like I think more closer to the suppressment model. So the government tried to bring population to self-isolation or to the. I think the request for the social distances was very strong. So the idea is to kind of flatten the curve, to give some time for the system for the healthcare system in Kazakhstan. Was very productive. So now I think the government medical and healthcare capacity is much stronger than it was in the initial stage. So we follow the best practice globally. So at the same time, we realized that there was like a trade-off between this policy in healthcare terms, but at the same time, it was like economic crisis because many people lost opportunities to go to their jobs. And the government announced the special measures. So the midterm package of the government is around 10%, is less than 8% of GDP. So means like more than $10 billion. So part of the measures is to create later on the new job places, but now to support people who lost their jobs. So the government supports around 4 million people by providing the social benefits, which is around $90 per capita. So it was around about 2 months. So after the May 11th, the government announced the measures to announced the approach to alleviate the measures. So somehow some people, in particular enterprises, to start to come back. But at the same time, we anyway have a ban for the huge and big public events.
The lockdown affected all communities, including religious communities. And there are a number of festivals which were taking place. So what happened in Kazakhstan as far as Ramadan was concerned, Easter, and so on?
Yeah, just small background. I think that among the different religious group, we have like 70% people follow the Sunni Islam, and 26% belongs to Christian world, part of Russian Orthodox Church and part of the Catholicism. And I think from very beginning, the government announced the ban of all the public activity. It was during the time when it was like a holy month of Ramadan, and also was a time when it was an Orthodox Easter and also Catholic Easter. It was prohibited to have any events with even the let's say the religious institutions. Even it was abolishing of the Tarawih namaz. It's a pray after the day during the Ramadan, and also it was suspension of the Friday prayer. As it was, and then the Friday prayer. The Mufti is actually issue the Friday prayer through online procedure. So it was, and even when it was like a special donations, so donation being done not within the religious institution, but was done through the special online platform through the local banks. So it was a very, I think, very productive. At the same time, it was a good linkage between the religious institution and the parishioners in terms of the online discussion and online conversation. So means that the government provide the equal treatment to all the religious institutions. At the same time, everybody understands the responsibility for the social distancing for the entire populations, and let's say everybody explains to the others why it's going on like this, but at the same time everybody start to support each other through the remote mode.
I'm just wondering what you think the ongoing consequences might be. I can see you sitting in your office. You're the first person I've spoken to in their actual office. Most people I speak to are still at home, as I am. So clearly a very small number are returning to work. But what do you think the long-term impact will be? First of all, in terms of just lifestyle, will there be a long-term impact, or will people just return to how it used to be?
Yeah, I think that before May 11, I also work out of home. So I think we all now good users of the different technologies like Zoom and like Microsoft Teams. So I think that's even brought us more efficiency in our work than when we can manage in remote mode. So the entire AFC team moved to remote mode. And I think it was like quite productive for us. But at the same time, we realize that definitely it's a huge impact, especially in terms of the kind of impact to the global economic development. So we do see now a few trends which I think would be very influential for the next decade, let's say. The first trend, I think it's, again, the continuation of somehow the deglobalization processes. So what we do see is a huge geopolitical tension between US and China from one side. From the other side, this kind of geopolitical tension, but at the same time, this the actually COVID-19 influence for us in terms of the agenda of kind of dividing the global trade for particularly macro regions. So we do have like Eurozone, specifically Southeast Asia, China. Also the maybe Anglo-Saxon world is also would be like a big trade zone, and I think that's a already trend which will not let's say it's a kind of irreversible trend for the next decade from one side. From the other side, it's a huge economic let's say economic crisis. It's a trend to recession. So we have a kind of the optimistic and pessimistic scenarios around the like a U-shaped or V-shaped or double warming scenarios, where I think that we have understanding that if it will be second wave of pandemic, so I think that the recession will continue for the next year. At the same time, for, let's say till 2021. At the same time, we do see that the different trends. So we do have winners, and we do have also the industries which will definitely going to be losers, like global tourism, like airlines. So I think that till 2023, we will not see the recovery of this. So this season for tourism would be lost, definitely. But at the same time, we have also we see the winners of the many industries, especially digital industries. So digital trend become more and more powerful. So we see it like companies like Zoom, valuation is bigger than valuation of the 7 biggest airlines globally. You can imagine, and also I think that we will see, and we already have seen it, like education system move to the online. And it's very much important because the offline habits have been very strong. And now we see that Cambridge University announced that it will be online till the end of the next year. I think that the other universities also will follow the model. Very important to have very strong digital platform among universities. We see the open platform of edX or Coursera, which allows us will provide us access to the best knowledge base. I think that also with some, let's say, food delivery and everything like this, like entertainment, will win through the online procedures.
Kairat Kelimbetov, thank you very much.